Virgo, have you been feeling like something isn't right, but you can't quite explain it? Like your heart is heavy, but you've been pretending you're fine? Have you been waking up with that strange ache in your chest, wondering if you're the only one feeling this lost? You're not crazy. You're not broken. What you're feeling right now is the universe shaking your soul and saying, enough. Enough pretending. Enough carrying weight that was never yours to begin with. There comes a moment in every Virgo's life when pretending doesn't work anymore. And this is that moment. You see, the reason everything feels so intense right now, the emotional roller coasters, the strange dreams, the people pulling away, it's all because the old version of you is crumbling. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually the sign you've been waiting for. The one that says you're ready to let go of what's holding you back and finally start becoming who you were meant to be. I know it's scary. Letting go always is. But what if, on the other side of that fear, is the peace you've been searching for your whole life? What if the pain wasn't there to punish you, but to prepare you? Virgo, if you've been looking for a sign, this is it. This is where your new life begins, not in silence, not in perfection, but in truth. Here's the truth, Virgo. If you want the life that's meant for you, the one filled with peace, purpose, and real love, you've got to make space for it. And that means letting go of what's been weighing you down. I'm not just talking about clearing your closet or deleting old contacts. I'm talking about releasing the emotional baggage you've been dragging around for years. Think about it. Every time you try to move forward, something pulls you back. Maybe it's the memory of someone who betrayed you. Maybe it's the voice in your head that keeps whispering you're not good enough. Maybe it's the fear that if you let go of the pain, you'll lose part of who you are. But here's the thing, Virgo. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are the person who survived it all. And now you have a choice. You can either keep feeding the story that keeps you small, or you can start writing a new one. Let's be real. Healing isn't pretty. It's messy. It's nights where you cry for no reason, days where you feel numb, moments where you want to run back to what's familiar, even if it hurts. But every time you choose to sit with that discomfort instead of escaping it, you grow. You rise. Some people might not understand the work you're doing. They might say you've changed, and they'd be right. You are changing. You are evolving. You are becoming more of yourself. And that's something to be proud of. Let me give you an example. I knew someone who carried the weight of abandonment for decades. She was a Virgo too. Her father walked out when she was 9, and ever since she built walls so high no one could ever get in. She was successful, charming, and smart. But behind closed doors, she was exhausted from pretending. The moment she finally faced her pain, the moment she stopped running from it, something shifted. She started to trust, to love, to breathe freely. That's the kind of freedom waiting for you. Virgo, this solar eclipse is more than just an astronomical event. It's a spiritual wake-up call, a moment where the universe says, it's time. Time to stop living in survival mode. Time to stop shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. Time to release that old story so a new one can begin. You don't need anyone's permission to heal. You don't need closure from people who never gave you the respect you deserved. What you need is to decide that your future matters more than your past. So ask yourself this: are you willing to let go of what hurt you, even if it felt like home? Because when you do, when you finally release what's been holding you back, everything starts to shift. Not all at once, but piece by piece, light starts to enter the places you thought would always stay dark. Virgo, I need to tell you something that might sound intense, but it's something your soul already knows. Karma never forgets. And right now, it's moving in your favor. You've been through some things that no one saw: silent battles, private heartbreaks, moments where you gave your all, and it still wasn't enough. You stayed kind, even when the world felt cruel. You gave love, even when all you got back was silence. But the universe, it watched everything, and it's responding. There's someone, maybe even a few people, who hurt you deeply. They used your light and your loyalty, not as something to respect, but something to take advantage of. Maybe they gossiped. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they walked away when you needed them most. And for a long time, you told yourself to move on. You pretended it didn't matter. You forgave them, even when they never apologized. But that pain didn't disappear. It stayed buried, shaping how you see the world, how much you trust, how much of yourself you share. Now, the scales are finally tipping. The pain they caused, it's returning to them. Not because you wished it, but because that's how the energy of the universe works. What you give out always comes back, and they're starting to feel the weight of what they did. Maybe they're losing friends, opportunities, peace. Maybe they can't sleep at night. That's not your burden to carry anymore. Your job now is not to watch their downfall. It's to rise. This solar eclipse isn't about revenge. It's about release. It's your moment to say, I choose peace. I choose me. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. You're here to grow, to heal, to live a life that actually feels good to wake up to. But healing isn't just about energy. It's also about action. That's where we move into the most important part of this journey, rebuilding your inner sanctuary. Virgo, you're being called to create a rhythm in your life that supports your soul, not just your schedule. Let me ask you, what does your daily life feel like right now? Is it chaotic, rushed, emotionally draining, or does it feel calm, intentional, aligned with who you really are? Because here's the truth. If your outer world feels like a storm, it's usually a reflection of the storm inside. And this is your time to shift that, not by controlling everything, but by creating inner peace first. Start small. Maybe you wake up 10 minutes earlier just to breathe. Maybe you stop checking your phone the moment you open your eyes. Maybe you replace late night scrolling with journaling, or light a candle while you reflect on your day. Create a morning ritual, not a routine for productivity, but a ritual for presence. Give your soul a place to land before the world gets loud, and it doesn't stop in the morning. How you move through your day matters. How you eat, how you speak, how you rest, it all adds up to your energy. And energy is everything. Think of your life like a garden. If you don't water it, it dries out. If you let in too many weeds, negative people, old patterns, self-doubt, it gets overrun. You have to tend to it. You have to protect it. You get to decide what grows. Let me give you another real example. A Virgo client of mine used to live in constant anxiety. She worked long hours, skipped meals, never had time for herself. Her calendar was packed, but her heart was empty. One day, she broke down, not because of one big thing, but because of all the little things she ignored. That's when she decided to build a new rhythm. She created space, said no more often, cooked dinner without her phone, meditated. She didn't become a different person. She just became more herself. And that changed everything. Virgo, your healing is in the details, in the way you talk to yourself when no one's listening, in the way you pause instead of react, in the way you give yourself grace on hard days and keep showing up anyway. You've spent so much of your life giving to others. Now it's time to give to yourself, not as a reward, but as a requirement. Because when you're full, when you're grounded, your energy becomes magnetic. The right people, the right opportunities, the right timing, they all start to find you. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are deeply in tune. And that is your power. This eclipse is clearing the path, but you've got to walk it. You've got to choose healing even when it's uncomfortable. You've got to choose peace even when chaos feels familiar. You've got to believe that your life can feel different, because it can. It really can. This is your permission to rest, to reset, to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. And most of all, it's your invitation to begin again, not from scratch, but from experience. So tonight, as the moon and sun dance in alignment, I want you to ask yourself one thing. What kind of life would feel like coming home? And what can I do today to take one small step toward it? Because that step, that choice, that moment, it could be the beginning of everything you've ever wanted. And here's something we often forget, Virgo. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect to start feeling better. Sometimes healing begins in the middle of the mess. It starts when you stop running and simply sit with yourself, even if it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's taking a walk outside with no destination. Maybe it's making a meal from scratch, not to impress anyone, but just to nourish yourself. Maybe it's turning off your phone for an hour and listening to your breath. These little choices, they add up. You don't need a massive transformation overnight. You need a few real moments of honesty with yourself. And from there, a little courage. That's it. The courage to believe you deserve better. The courage to say no. The courage to begin again. Virgo, this is not the end of your story. It's the part where everything changes, where you take your power back, not through force, but through presence, through choosing you again and again, because you're worth it, and this life, it's waiting for you to claim it. Virgo, now that you've cleared space in your heart and reclaimed your inner rhythm, it's time to build something new, something sustainable. Healing doesn't end with letting go. It deepens when you begin shaping your reality to match the person you're becoming. So let's talk about structure. Because structure isn't about control, it's about support. Think of it like this. You don't plant a delicate vine and let it grow wild. You give it a trellis. You guide it upward. The same goes for your life. You've got to create a life that supports your energy, not drains it. Start by building simple systems that make your day easier, not harder. Maybe that looks like meal prepping on Sundays so you nourish yourself all week. Maybe it means putting a sticky note on your mirror that reminds you to breathe deeply before checking your phone. Maybe it's creating a playlist that resets your energy after work. These aren't grand gestures, they're energy protectors. One of the most powerful things you can do is establish an energy budget. Just like you wouldn't spend money on something that drains your account, stop spending your emotional energy on things or people that don't give anything back. If someone leaves you exhausted after every conversation, that's a cost you can't afford. So ask yourself, what parts of my day are stealing my peace? What routines actually make me feel safe, grounded, alive? This is how you start redesigning your reality, Virgo. Not with perfection, but with intention. And as your world becomes more aligned, something surprising happens. Love starts to return. But not the kind of love that confuses you or asks you to prove yourself. This love is different, it's steady. It sees you, it respects you. For many of you, love has been a battlefield. You've given more than you got. You've loved people who were not ready to be loved, and it left you questioning your worth. But here's the truth. How others treat you is never a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their capacity. You are not too much. You were simply in the wrong room. This next season of your life is about alignment, not attachment. That means you're no longer chasing love. You're becoming the version of yourself that love is drawn to. Let me share a story. A Virgo woman I once worked with used to say she was unlucky in love. Every relationship ended in disappointment. But as she began working on herself, clearing trauma, setting boundaries, building routines, she stopped feeling desperate for love. She started feeling full. And that's exactly when the right person came along, not to complete her, but to complement her. They built a partnership rooted in respect and emotional maturity. You see, Virgo, love doesn't thrive in chaos. It grows in clarity. And the more you clear your life of what's false, the faster what's true finds you. And this isn't just about romantic love. It's about all the relationships in your life, your friends, your family, your coworkers. You deserve to be surrounded by people who see your heart, not just your productivity. People who hold space for your dreams. People who celebrate your growth, not fear it. So as you continue building your life from the inside out, Keep asking yourself, does this relationship support who I'm becoming? Does this dynamic make me feel seen or small? These questions are not selfish. They are sacred. This is how you shift your standards, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. You're not building walls. You're building gates with strong locks. Only those with the key of truth, respect, and consistency get through. You've spent enough time shrinking yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. Now, it's time to expand and let the right people expand with you. And just one more thing. Never underestimate the power of solitude. You don't need to be in a relationship to feel whole. Some of the most powerful transformations happen in the silence, in the waiting, in the sacred pause before the right connection arrives. So don't rush it. Trust that the love that's meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself to keep it. Because Virgo, real love begins when you finally choose yourself. And right now, that's exactly what you're doing. You might be wondering, how do I know if I'm on the right path? The answer is simple, but powerful. Peace. When something is right for you, it won't create chaos inside you. It won't make you second-guess your worth. It won't feel like a battlefield. Peace isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet knowing, a calm in your chest, a sense that even if everything isn't perfect, it's finally real. That's what you're walking toward, Virgo. And if you feel alone on this journey, know that you're not. So many others are doing this deep work quietly. Just like you, they're choosing healing. They're choosing themselves. And they're rewriting their story, one honest step at a time. You're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where you need to be. Every tear, every lesson, every moment of clarity, it's all led you here, to this place where you finally get to decide what kind of life you want to live. So choose wisely, choose slowly, but most of all, choose in alignment with your truth, because that's where your magic lives, and that's where love will find you next. Let this next chapter be one where you no longer apologize for your sensitivity, your strength, or your standards. Let this be the season where you rise not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. Take care of your space, physically and energetically. Burn the candle, play the music. Let light into your room and your mind. Say no when you mean it. Say yes only when your soul feels it. You deserve to feel loved not for your usefulness, but for your essence. You deserve to rest without guilt. You deserve mornings that feel like hope and nights that bring deep, soul-filling sleep. So Virgo, breathe deep. You've come so far, and everything you've been asking for, it's getting closer, step by step, day by day. Trust the process, trust yourself. Virgo, let's talk about the cosmic shift that's about to reshape your entire inner world. The solar eclipse happening on March 29th in the sign of Aries. This isn't just another event on the astrology calendar. It's a reset button, a spiritual reset, one that you've been unknowingly preparing for over the last few months. Eclipses have always been symbolic of fate stepping in. They don't ask for permission. They show up, shake things up, and reroute us to where we're actually meant to be. And this one, happening in fiery Aries, brings the kind of bold, unapologetic energy that Virgo, you desperately need right now. Why? Because for too long, you've been living in your head, overthinking, planning, waiting for the perfect moment to act. And while your logic has protected you, it's also trapped you. This eclipse is here to burn through that hesitation, to remind you that sometimes growth doesn't come from thinking, it comes from leaping. Think of it like this. Aries energy is the spark, the match that lights the fire. Virgo, you already have the structure, the discipline, the inner wisdom. But what you've been lacking is ignition, that inner fire that says, I don't need more time, I need more courage. This eclipse is lighting that flame. So what should you be focusing on? First, pay attention to what feels like it's breaking down. Eclipses often come with endings, not to hurt us, but to help us release what we've been clinging to out of fear. Maybe it's a job that's quietly draining your soul. Maybe it's a dynamic with someone that always leaves you doubting yourself. Maybe it's an old version of you that no longer fits who you're becoming. Let it go. Second, notice the doors that begin to open around this time. They might not look exactly like what you imagined. They might come through a strange opportunity, a new conversation, a gut feeling that won't go away. Follow it. Don't wait for clarity. Sometimes you only see the path after you take the first step. And third, watch for signs. This eclipse is a cosmic megaphone. Expect synchronicities, repeating numbers, conversations that echo something you were just thinking about, dreams that feel more like messages than imagination. The universe is speaking louder than usual. Make space to listen. Let me tell you something a lot of people overlook. Solar eclipses are not just about new beginnings. They're about truth. And sometimes, that truth is uncomfortable. You might realize that you've outgrown something you once prayed for. That's okay. You're not betraying your past. You're honoring your evolution. So Virgo, as this eclipse energy builds, start asking yourself powerful questions. What am I no longer willing to tolerate? What lights me up, even if it scares me? Where am I being called to lead, not follow? Because Aries is the leader, the pioneer, the one who goes first even when the map isn't finished. And right now the stars are asking you to take on that energy, to trust yourself more than your fear, to remember that timing is less important than readiness. And you, Virgo, you are ready. This is your cosmic permission slip. Tear up the old plan, say yes to the unknown, and let the fire of this eclipse burn away everything that's been keeping your magic dim. The next chapter begins now. And one more thing, Virgo. Don't ignore your body during this time. Eclipses don't just shake your soul, they stir your physical energy too. You might feel more tired than usual or restless and jittery. You might crave certain foods or feel emotionally on edge. Listen to those cues. They're part of your energetic system trying to recalibrate. Maybe you need more rest. Maybe you need to move your body differently. Take walks, stretch, dance. Just release the energy. Maybe you need stillness and solitude. Give yourself what you need without guilt. This isn't a time to push. It's a time to align. Use this eclipse to create a sacred container. Journal your thoughts. Light a candle. Speak your intentions out loud. Write down the version of you that you're stepping into, and burn the page as a ritual of release. Let that smoke carry away your doubts. The eclipse will pass, but the choices you make around it will echo long after. This is not just a date on the calendar, it's a threshold. Step through it with your head high, your heart open, and your intuition leading the way. You're not just surviving this shift, Virgo. You're rising because of it. And trust me, the universe is cheering you on. What you just heard isn't a conclusion. It's a doorway into the life that finally feels like yours. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into something every Virgo needs. How do you protect your new energy when the old world keeps pulling you back? Don't miss it if you're in the middle of a transformation. And before you go, drop a comment below. What part hit you the hardest? Or simply say, I'm ready to come home to myself, because your words might be the light another Virgo has been searching for.